What's up, YouTube? This is KingDaddyDMAC coming at you with my 17th Wi-Fi vid. This is an oldie from about 2 weeks ago. I was happy to find on my battle recorder. I thought it was an epic match, and is my first time that I test out this team that I've used for most of my vids. This is against UA Arbiter, and here we go. He starts off with his lead. I start off my lead Machamp. He has his lead Infernape. I get off my Dynamic Punch after he does pretty minor damage with a Flamethrower, and ends up killing himself with Confusion on the once he's down to the Scarf. Wouldn't have mattered. I would have Bull Punched anyway. Here, he does a close combat. I was kind of pissed. Ended up taking out my Machamp, but you know, I got rid of a ape with him, so good enough. I switch into my Swampert. He switches out, and I set up my rocks. He goes into his Bronzing, which was a little bit of trouble for me. I go into my Hellboy, do my HP Fire. Doesn't do, you know, does a pretty sizable chunk for being only 60 or 70 base power, but this I was pretty pissed about. He has the Gyro Ball, which, you know, is a pretty common move, but I was hoping it didn't have it. Go into my Shaman and set up my Leech Seed just so I can start gaining health, and the Gyro Ball, it's doing a fair amount of damage, but you know, it's going to be probably a 4-hit KO. And here I do my Synthesis. This was a pretty fail move on my part, just because he does have the Explosion. I kind of thought that he would have done that first if he had it and not continued Gyro Balling, so I thought that I was pretty safe continuing to do the Synthesis and just let the Leech Seed take him out. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I do end up living, but here I decided to stay in just in case there was a nasty plot Porygon Z, and I was going for the Seed Flare. Anyway, going to my Clef, he switches out. Smart move, buddy. And since especially he didn't have the boost and special attack, I switch out after getting up my Reflect, and does minor damage. His screens are starting to wear out. He gets his Stealth Rocks off, not a big deal. And I'm trying to check out whether this Swampert is more bulky on the physical or special side. He took that EQ pretty well, you know, as well as mine would, so I'm assuming that that guy is bulkier on the physical side, so I decided to go off with the Surf just to check. He ends up making the switch. You know, that's probably was not necessary, but either way, you end up doing a sizable chunk with this close combat. You know, whatever. I get off another Surf. You have the drops. That's cool. I take out your Hitmonchan, or excuse me, Hitmontop. So that's always a good thing. He can be a bitch to take down. Goes back into the Porygon. Now he's going to get that special attack raise from the ability. I go into my Clef, and here he goes ahead with the Tri-Attack, and I'm seeing here I'm going to be able to take two of them definitely. So I go ahead and paralyze the Porygon Z just in case he's scarfed, and I'm seeing since he's continuing to use the same move, he most likely was a scarfed Porygon. So I'm able to soft boil off the damage, and here it gets to be a pretty long stall, so I decided to speed it up to 4 times. And I get to this point where I think I can just do one more S-Toss, easily take out, and it's looking pretty good. Soft boil up again. I'm trying to get to the point where I can set up a Reflect and have fairly high health, hopefully from Parahaxes and so forth. So I'm pretty much at that point. This is awesome. He's gotten a bunch of haxes, set up my reflect. I'm about to do my last S-toss and be comfortable. And then he gets a fucking freeze. And this really pissed me off because then I'd have to just fodder out my Clefable. Yet, I unfreeze a turn later. And it's back to looking cool again. And I keep on going up. And he actually got 2 freezes there. Almost in a row. Both I unfroze from. But either way, I'm just hoping again to be able to set up a fresh reflect and have decent enough damage just so that I'll be ready to take on the rest of his team. And I'm just about there. I'm able to set up my reflect. He gets para-hacks. That's awesome. I'm able to finally take the fucker out. So now we move on to the rest of his team. He's got 2 pokes left. I don't know what his last poke is. He brings in his Swampert. Here, I just want to whittle Swampert down because I don't have anything good to really switch into on Swampert. I'm not sure what his full moveset is. So far, he's only shown me Earthquake and Waterfall. So I don't know if he carries the ice move is what I'm fearing because I have a Mence to go for a sweep at the end. And this really ticked me off because he got a crit right there when I would have been able to, with 1 or 2 more S-tosses, easily taken out the Swampert. I bring in my own Swampert. He does a Waterfall. He is faster than me, you can see from the leftovers recovery. And he gets another crit. And he gets a flinch. So now my Swampert is fucking out. And my reflect is about to wear out as well. So that whole saw was almost pointless, and he's able to take me out with crit after flinch. So I switch in my Hellboy, and it was pointless because... So now I'm down to 1 poke, and I'm pretty pissed here because had any of those haxes not happened to me, I would have been able to get up been able to take out this Swampert with 1 outrage, yet he doesn't carry the freaking ice move, which really then ticked me off even more. I get him out with a 2nd outrage, that's fine, but I'm coming on to his next poke and I get the confusion fucking set in at turn 2. It's expected, but it just drove me nuts. And then he has a Dragonite. Thank God I get some type of justice for all of this. Freaking don't get the confusion hacks. Awesome, good game. You're out, Arbiter. And, you know, comment, rate, subscribe, man. I'm real happy because, you know, you just can't add up to the KingDaddyDMAC.
Girls, rub on your titty. Yeah. You fuck it, I said it. Rub on your titties. New York City pretty committee. Pity the fool that act shitty in the midst of the calm, the witty.
Yo, shut the fuck up. Luck says shut the fuck up. Bitches in the back like crack getting cut up. I speak on behalf of them bros you call stuck up. Act like a man to get cock smack the fuck up. Pull a truck up. Luck, you know the name. Assed out in the bleachers, stay shitting on the game. I suppose what you spitting is flames. Cowards, knew your crew is vaginal. I can smell the Dutch powder. Summer's Eve, I drop degrees chill. Come 4 by 4, lose 1 like Drew Hill. Stay fly till you get air sick. Now that's ill. 2 choices, either squeeze or pill. Now that's real.
What the fuck's going on here? Just a minute now, hold up. Then it's the win, it's the time. I diminish and finish and roll up. But I'm cinematic.